A special session of Lok Sabha has started today and three important bills have been tabled. The 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill, the Delimitation Bill and the Union Territories Bill. But how has women's reservation become the center of the debate, and how is it linked to the Delimitation Bill? And why is the opposition raising concerns? In this session, let us try and understand the answers to these questions. Hello students, welcome to Drishti IAS. My name is Saloni Nanthiolier. Let's get started. So a special session of Lok Sabha has started today and three important bills have been tabled. These bills are the 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill, the Delimitation Bill and the Union Territories Laws Amendment Bill of 2026. Right? So these are the three important bills that have been tabled. Now discussions will happen for the next couple of days. But why is this being linked to women's reservation? To women's reservation, and why are the southern states actually staging a protest over here? In fact, there were black flag demonstrations in Tamil Nadu also against the Delimitation Bill. So what is the concern that we have with the Delimitation Bill, and how is this linked to the women's reservation? What has been the history of events? So these are some very important questions. And what should be India's way forward? So how should India be tackling this situation? This is also again an important question. Now before we dive into the answers of these questions, very quickly let me tell you that there is this new course for you, which is the Studio GS Foundation live online course. Now this is a foundation course, which means that the UPSC prelims and main syllabus will be covered. So you will get 1250 plus hours of classes, you will get printed class notes and a complete syllabus coverage in 14 months. And all of this you are getting at 34,999 rupees. And if in future you are planning to join the offline foundation batch at Drishti, then this fee is going to be adjusted in the fees of our offline foundation batch, making this course practically free for those students who plan to join the offline foundation batch at Drishti. So don't wait, admissions are already open. You can call us at 87501 87501 and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. And while you are enrolling into this course and you wish to avail a further discount on this fee, then please use this coupon code SALONI, all in capital letters only, and you will be able to get the maximum discount on this fee. So don't wait, you have three mediums that you can choose from: English, Hindi and English. Any more queries, please call us at the number given on screen. Now let's get back to our topic and understand what is the issue related to women's reservation and delimitation and what basically is being proposed in these bills. So let's start with the first one, the 131st Constitutional Amendment Bill. So one of the key provisions of this bill over here is that the number of seats in Lok Sabha should be increased from the current 543 to some 850. 543 to 850 seats in Lok Sabha. And out of these 850 seats, 815 will come from states and 35 will come from UTs. Right? So in Lok Sabha, we have MPs. MPs basically represent the population of that constituency. So we are planning on increasing the number of MPs in Lok Sabha. 815 will be coming from states and 35 will be coming from UTs. So we are planning on increasing the representation in Lok Sabha, right? So this is the first key proposal. Then the second one says that the women's reservation should be implemented. Women's reservation should actually be implemented in the 2029 Lok Sabha elections itself. Women's reservation should be implemented in the 2029 Lok Sabha elections itself. Now, we know that in 2023, let's understand the history, how women's reservation is coming into picture. So in 2023, Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam came in. 2023, the Women's Reservation Act, and in that, one-third seats were to be reserved for women, right? In the Lok Sabha and in the state legislative assemblies. Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, women were to get one-third of the seats reserved for themselves. Now at the panchayat level, at the municipal level, so basically at the local government level, we already have representation. We already have reservation for women. 1/3 of the seats are already reserved for women in the local level government, and in some states this is even as high as 50%. Right, so local level we already have it, but at the state assembly level and at the Lok Sabha level, this Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam said that 1/3 of the seats will be reserved for women. All good so far, but it's said that this will be implemented post the delimitation after census of 2021. So how does the procedure take place? We know that these constituencies, there is a lot of population in these constituencies, and then we represent, MPs basically represent that population of the constituency. And right now the situation in India is, it's kind of skewed in the Lok Sabha. So the cities, or basically the states or the constituencies that are most populous, they are supposed to have more representation, and the states or the constituencies that are least populous, they are going to have lesser representation, right? This is how it works. So how does this representation come into picture? So first of all, a census is conducted. Based on the census, we are going to get the total population of that area. After the census, delimitation happens. After the census, delimitation happens. And in delimitation, we actually redraw the boundaries of the constituencies. And based on that, we give reservation. Based on that, we give reservation, and this finally is reflected in the elections. Okay, so this is the procedure that has to be followed. So in the Nari Shakti Vandhan Adhiniyam, it was said that census of 2021 will be considered. Right now, we are following the data of census 2011, right? 2021 census could not be conducted on time because of COVID. It just began on 1st of April. 1st April 2026, right? So the order ideally should have been that the census of 2021, meaning this census that is being conducted in 2026, once this census is complete, after that delimitation will happen. After that, this reservation is going to be implemented, and then in the next Lok Sabha elections, we will have it. So if we look at the timeline over here, so census right now is happening 2026, somewhere around in an ideal timeline. Okay, if we do not take any delays or procedural delays, administrative delays into consideration, it is all about the timeline. You will understand it in a bit. So census of 2026 ideally will be done by 2027. Then delimitation will happen. This will take another 1 or 2 years. Somewhere around 2028, we should be done with delimitation. And then latest by 2029, we will be able to provide reservation to the females if everything goes right on time. But this is an ideal scenario. This is very hard to be implemented. There are going to be procedural delays, there are going to be administrative delays, and most importantly, this delimitation that we are talking about, it is going to see political delays. So delimitation bill is actually the heart of the entire debate over here. Political parties are not supporting the current delimitation. What is the government saying right now? The government is saying that the census is ongoing. Great. As soon as the census completes, we are going to do the delimitation. As soon as the delimitation is done, the constituencies are redrawn. We are going to update the number of MPs representing each constituency. Because we are proposing what? The number of seats to be increased in the Lok Sabha from 543 to 850. So we'll implement this, and then we are going to have the reservation being implemented full-fledgedly in the next Lok Sabha elections. This is what the government is saying. But the opposition parties are saying that we have a problem with this delimitation that you're talking about here. We cannot afford to have a delimitation done right now in such a haste, because if you look at the history of the delimitation events also, and if you look at the number, the number that we see in our constituencies or the number that we see in our Lok Sabha, this has been frozen. Based on the 1971 census data. The number of seats that we have in Lok Sabha at the moment, they are not up to date. They are not following the most important or like the most recent data. They have been frozen based on the 1971 census data. Why? Because back in that time, the population was being controlled very aggressively. So the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, it said that you please freeze the number of seats that are being represented by each state, that have been given to each state, so as to compensate for any losses that the southern states will have to face. Because of population control policies that were being implemented so aggressively, southern states were doing good and the northern states were not doing that good. So we decided that we are going to freeze this. We are going to freeze this till 2001. We will freeze this till 2001 and then we'll come up with a solution. 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act said this. Then the 84th Constitutional Amendment Act said that please extend this timeline from 2001 to 2026. Extend this from 2001 to 2026. We will not change the number of seats that we have in the Lok Sabha or the representation that each state has. For example, if UP has 80, if Bihar has 39, 40, whatever is the representation will remain as is. We are only going to redraw boundaries. Delimitation can happen because delimitation has happened the last time in 2002. So the delimitation can keep on happening. If you want to redraw the boundaries of the constituencies, go ahead, do that. But the representation is not going to change. Representation per constituency, representation per state is not going to change, because we do not want the southern states to kind of be punished for the population control that they have done in the right manner. So this was extended till 2026 and now we are in 2026. Ideally, this delimitation has to happen and the boundaries have to be redrawn. The population has to be, the representation also has to change. But what is happening at the moment, the opposition again is fearing the same thing. That again, if this kind of a representation is being changed right now, so what is happening? It's saying, the center is saying that don't wait for the 2026 census to be over. Ideally, this would have been the scenario, 2026 census to be over and then delimitation and then properly the execution of reservation. But the government is proposing that please don't wait till 2026 census to be completed. Do the delimitation exercise based on the 2011 census itself. Because we do not have that amount of time, we know political delays are going to be there. So let's not wait till 2026 census. Let's do this. Let's do the delimitation exercise based on the 2011 census. And then we are going to, redraw the boundaries and also change the representation and everything based on the 2011 census. But again, the southern states are saying, why is this haste? If you want to give reservation, you already have 543 members in the Lok Sabha. Reserve 1/3 seats. Do it right now. Why do you want to, have a delimitation exercise being done for that? If you want to give reservation, give the reservation based on the current data. But the center is saying that when we are going to do delimitation, that means the structure will change. So if we give reservation right now, and then the main structure will change, then we'll also have to change the structure again of reservation. So why should we keep on changing things again and again? If data has to be changed, then let us first do the delimitation exercise. Let us first get concrete data, the big picture, and after that we are going to implement reservation. And for that we need census 2026 data. So let's not wait for the complete exercise to be done. Let's carry on with the 2011's data. So this is the entire issue, but the opposition is saying that no, if this delimitation exercise is conducted in such a haste without consulting the southern states, without properly coming up with a solution, because what was happening? Why were we actually dealing delimitation? Because there was no solution. Because the northern states, if this is implemented, right now also what has happened? The northern states, they have increased their population. In 1971's data we are talking about, this is a very outdated data. Back then the population of India was not that much. Right now we are the most populous country in the world. So the data has changed for sure, and it has changed significantly. And in that also the northern state share is higher, and then southern states, they have a low share, they have decreased their population. And we do not have a solution to this problem at the moment. How are we going to tackle this entire situation so that it does not look like a punishment, that we are punishing the southern states for controlling their for good governance that they showed, that they controlled their population in the right manner. So we should have a proper strategy built in, and that is what the southern states are proposing, or the opposition is proposing, and that's why protests are also happening, that do not do anything in haste, do not do this delimitation exercise. We are not against the women's reservation. We want women's reservation in principle. So if you want to do it right now. But the center is saying that if the data has to be changed, then let's change the data first and then we are going to do reservation, right? So this has been the entire debate, and then the center time and again has been saying that, the share is not going to decrease. If you feel that the number of seats, basically, if we are going to redraw boundaries, if we are going to change it from 543 to 850, all the states will see an increase in their number of seats. Whether the states of North India, whether the states of South India, all these states are going to see an absolute increase in their numbers for sure. So for that, this data is given that in Uttar Pradesh right now, the current seats are 80, proposed seats will be 120. So there is a gain of 40 seats. Maharashtra also 48 to 72, West Bengal 42 to 63. If we see Tamil Nadu 39 to 59, Karnataka 28 to 42, Andhra Pradesh 25 to 38. So basically the center is saying that the absolute number is definitely going to increase for the southern states also. It is not going to decrease. So this should not look like a punishment. But then a nuance is there. The southern states are saying that the absolute number is increasing. But if you compare it relatively with the northern states, the share again is going to be reduced. The absolute gain in numbers of the southern states and the absolute gain in the number of northern states, it is going to be very skewed. The gap is going to be very high, and we know if the population is going to be higher for the northern states, then they are going to get more reservation and more representation, because that's the case right now also. UP, one MP approximately, that person is representing some 25 lakh people, and Tamil Nadu not so many people. So it's like this representation is going to be skewed even more. So definitely the absolute number is going to increase, but the share is going to decrease. And that is the concern of these southern states. That's why they are saying that if you want to implement women's reservation, go ahead and do that, but please don't implement delimitation bill in such a haste. Let's properly understand what could be the solution to this problem, or maybe, implement the reservation right now. Don't carry on the delimitation exercise. Just implement the reservation based on the current data, the current number of seats that you have, and then let's come up with a solution to this problem on how are we going to tackle this. And then a delimitation exercise can follow, because you cannot just keep on postponing the delimitation exercise forever. It has to be done. So if the boundaries are going to be redrawn, representation will be changed. You cannot just keep on relying on 1971's data. That is also not practical. So data will have to change. But here federalism is the bigger question, that you will have to show cooperative federalism. The center and the states, everybody will have to come together and look for a solution, that how do you change the data, and how it does not even look like a punishment for the southern states. So these are some questions that are being asked. And with this bill, it is also being proposed that this reservation that we are talking about, the women's reservation, that right now is being given to Lok Sabha, right now is being implemented in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, it should also be extended to the union territories. So this is what the union territories amendment bill is also saying. So the major debate in here is about conducting the delimitation exercise. The number of seats were frozen based on the 1971 census data, and now they have to be changed. The center is saying that let's not wait for the entire census to complete, census exercise of 2026-27 to complete. Do the delimitation based on 2011 census data and then give reservation. But the opposition is saying do not do delimitation like this. We are going to be, this is not going to work in our favor. So let's come up with a solution first, give reservation to women right now and come up with a solution, and then do the delimitation exercise. So I hope this entire debate or this controversy is clear to you. This is what's happening in the special session. Let's see what comes out of it. Is the bill passed? Is it not passed? And what are the things that are basically discussed? So this is the entire debate that, and we know that the number of, if the representation in Lok Sabha is going to increase, that basically means more influence on policy making, more influence on governance. So we'll have to come up with a proper federal solution in this case. So thank you for watching the video. Now let's look at a practice question for prelims. With reference to delimitation in India, consider the following statements. 1. The number of seats allocated to each state in the Lok Sabha is currently based on the 1971 census. 2. The constitution mandates delimitation after every census, but parliament can freeze seat allocation through constitutional amendments. 3. The 84th Constitutional Amendment Act completely prohibited all forms of delimitation until 2026. Choose the correct statements. A 1 only, B 1 and 2 only, C 2 and 3 only, or D 1, 2 and 3. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe to Drishti IAS English.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.